The Mexican-American War, fought between 1846 and 1848, was a pivotal conflict driven by the United States' expansionist ambitions under the ideology of manifest destiny, the belief that the U.S. was destined to expand across the North American continent. The immediate cause of the war was the annexation of Texas by the United States in 1845. Texas had declared independence from Mexico in 1836 after a successful rebellion, establishing itself as the Republic of Texas. While the U.S. quickly recognized Texas as an independent nation, Mexico refused to do so and considered its annexation a violation of its territorial sovereignty. Another major point of contention was the dispute over the southern boundary of Texas. The United States claimed the Rio Grande as the legitimate border, while Mexico argued it was the Nueces River, about 150 miles to the north. To assert the American claim, President James K. Polk ordered General Zachary Taylor to move U.S. troops into the disputed territory between the two rivers. In April 1846, Mexican cavalry attacked a U.S. patrol, killing or wounding several soldiers. Polk used this incident to argue that Mexico had shed American blood upon American soil, and requested a formal declaration of war from Congress, which was granted on May 13, 1846. The military campaigns of the war unfolded across multiple theaters. In the north, General Taylor led the Army of Occupation and achieved early victories at the battles of Palo Alto and Resaca de la Palma in May 1846, pushing Mexican forces back across the Rio Grande. Taylor then advanced into northern Mexico, capturing Monterrey after intense urban combat in September 1846. In early 1847, Taylor defeated a much larger Mexican army under General Antonio López de Santa Anna at the Battle of Buena Vista, using superior artillery and defensive positioning to repel the assault. Meanwhile, in the Western Theater, Colonel Stephen W. Kearny led a force from Fort Leavenworth and took control of New Mexico without a fight before moving into California. There, the Bear Flag Revolt had already begun, in which American settlers declared California an independent republic. Combined with U.S. naval forces under Commodore John D. Sloat and later Commodore Robert F. Stockton, the Americans rapidly secured California by early 1847. The Central Campaign was led by General Winfield Scott, who executed the first major amphibious landing in U.S. history at Veracruz in March 1847. After a successful siege, Scott's forces marched inland toward Mexico City, overcoming fierce resistance at the battles of Cerro Gordo, Contreras, and Churubusco. In September, after victories at Molino del Rey and the storming of the fortified hill of Chapultepec, U.S. forces entered the Mexican capital. The occupation of Mexico City marked the effective end of military operations. Peace negotiations followed, culminating in the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, signed on February 2, 1848. Under the treaty, Mexico ceded approximately 525,000 square miles of territory, nearly half its landmass, including what are now the U.S. states of California, Nevada, Utah, most of Arizona, and parts of New Mexico, Colorado, and Wyoming. The U.S. agreed to pay $15 million in compensation and assumed $3.25 million in claims by American citizens against the Mexican government. The war significantly advanced the territorial expansion of the United States and fulfilled much of the Manifest Destiny vision, but it also deepened domestic divisions over slavery, as Americans debated whether slavery should be allowed in the newly acquired territories. This dispute contributed to the growing sectional tensions that would ultimately lead to the Civil War. For Mexico, the war was a devastating blow to national pride and territorial integrity, and it fueled internal instability for decades. It weakened the central government, contributed to cycles of revolution and dictatorship, and left deep scars in the national consciousness. The war also had long-term consequences for U.S.-Mexico relations, establishing a precedent of distrust and conflict between the two countries. Despite its relatively short duration, the Mexican-American War profoundly shaped the political and territorial development of North America and left a legacy that still echoes in modern discussions of borders, immigration, and national identity.